Every Friday, along with some of Namibia's biggest artists right here on this platform.
Today on One Always There. Today on One, your daily dose of local affairs and social media commentary. Today on One, law enforcement wants men to be more vocal on gender-based violence issues. Young people in Iranga region show interest in elections. Condemnation of Click's advert continues. And Namibia international travel ban lifted to revive the economy.
Although not as prevalent as gender-based violence against women, GBV against men has raised concern with the law enforcement, with recent cases reported with the city police, who are urging men to be vocal and speak out on any form of abuse inflicted on them. City Police Sergeant Feliciana Chiwana revealed that there are many unreported cases of gender-based violence towards men, most specifically domestic violence, saying that this is because men refuse to speak out and are suffering in silence due to the perception of masculinity painted in society.
We only find out in most cases when a lady come and lay a charge or come and complain about domestic violence. And then when you do thorough investigation and you listen to both sides of the stories, that is when you actually hear that the man is actually the one being abused. And the way society perceives men as well, men are perceived not to show emotion and to be strong in society. So when men speak out about domestic violence or being abused by their significant other, which is their wives or their girlfriends, people actually laugh at them. So what men do is they bottle up all these emotions and they do not speak about domestic violence, more especially when it comes to physical abuse. They just keep quiet because people are laughing at them, saying that you are a man, how can a woman beat you? And this results into the man retaliating now, and he can cause harm to the female partner, which he did not want to do, but then because he could not take it any longer, this is what is happening.
No to gender-based violence and death initiator says more work needs to be done to empower men to speak out on GBV or any form of abuse, as women capitalize on being the victims, adding that a lot of GBV activism and campaigns today are geared more towards women.
There's still a lot of work to be done towards men, because most of this violence, once you hear violence, the first thing is it's against a woman. But men, I can tell you authoritatively that men are being abused. But out of pride or shame or whatever, they don't speak out. So we need to do a lot of education. We need to speak to men. We need to carry out campaigns. We need to do a lot of work. Women capitalize on the fact that it's always on their side. So I've had situations where wives or girlfriends tell their spouse that, look, they provoke them and tell them, touch me and you'll go to jail. They do all sorts. I've had men being beaten, men being slapped, men being violated by their spouse, by their female counterparts. But most times they keep quiet. And now it's about time that we give audience to the plight of men.
Law enforcement adds that financial abuse is a common form of abuse that men are subjected to, where child support is used as a threat by their significant other.
In most cases, a man has a child with a woman, and then he's supposed to be the sole financial provider of this child. And if they do not do that, then the woman reports them, or then the woman threatens them. And men are deprived to support their children, to give their children emotional support. psychosocial support, because now the women just want money from the men, but then when the men want to spend time with their children, they are being deprived.
Men are thus urged to reach out to law enforcement and speak out on any form of violence against them.
Supplementary registration of voters for the Regional Council and Local Authority elections 2020 is here. The Electoral Commission of Namibia is calling on Namibian citizens who are 18 years or older and who are not registered as voters to register from the 7th to the 15th of September 2020. To register, you should provide proof of identity, age, and Namibian citizenship by providing one or a combination of the following documents: new or old Namibian identity document, or valid green Namibian passport, or Namibian citizenship certificate and sworn statements by 2 registered deponents, or a Namibian or a birth certificate of any other country and a sworn statement under oath affirming Namibian citizenship, as well as statements under oath by 2 registered deponents, or valid Namibian driver's license and a Namibian birth certificate, or a birth certificate of any other country and a sworn statement under oath affirming Namibian citizenship. All registered voters who have moved from one constituency to another, lost or damaged their voters' cards, or persons who have changed their surname are advised to register. Please go register to vote. Your vote counts.
According to the Electoral Commission of Namibia's Irongo Regional Coordinator, young people in Walvis Bay and Swakopmund are showing an interest in registering for the 2020 regional and local authority elections. He added that the figures are also increasing in other towns in the Irongo region, such as Karibub and Usakos. The ECN Irongo Regional Coordinator also encouraged voters who were issued with a voting card ahead of the November 2019 presidential and National Assembly elections to make sure that the local authority section on their card does not indicate not applicable, as this means you will not be allowed to vote in the local authority elections, but only in the regional elections with the card.
The cards that are showing not applicable, for local authority not applicable. If you remember that last year, we only register people for presidential and national assembly. And that's because that people were allowed to go and vote anywhere. Because by that time, the country became one constituency. Now we have all 14 regions with 121 constituencies. And each constituency has to vote for his councillor. And we have towns also, those towns have to vote for their own councillors. But if you are staying in a local authority and your card was saying not applicable, you have to return your card, and then you get the one that says you are able to register or you are able to vote for local authority.
Although the voter apathy among young people for these elections could be improving in the Swakopmund and Walvis Bay constituencies, the ECN Irongo Regional Coordinator expressed concern regarding voter apathy in areas like the Dwares constituency in the Irongo region, which he hopes will improve in the upcoming days. He also mentioned that some of the challenges faced during the supplementary registration include people who have changed their residential address and no longer reside in that constituency.
We have the other ones that change of address, people that are coming from other constituency and you come to change to stay in other constituency. Those are also one of the problems that we are having, because if people saying that sometimes they say they lost their cards, and when you find out in the box they register from other places, and we have to change their address. The other one is the loss of their cards, which is going to be a duplicate, and that's how we are going to that's the process of registering.
Supplementary registration for the November 2020 local and regional authorities elections started from the 7th of September and will end on the 15th of September 2020.
Share with us on #LearnOn1. Tell us what you're learning and where you're learning it from. Send us your name and town to the One Africa TV's WhatsApp on 081 200 6659 or send an SMS to 555. One Africa TV. It just gets better.
In recent weeks, social media has gone abuzz after a Clicks advert surfaced depicting the hair of the black community as dry and not nutritious. The Landless People's Movement LPM and local hair product store owners have spoken out against this advert, while in South Africa certain political parties have resorted to locking down Clicks outlets.
This zone is a zone where the black man, it is not empowered, he's not appreciated. He is basically a nobody. He is inhumane. We are currently seeing the same advertisements, not going just with Clicks, but a long time ago. These major big capitalist companies capitalize on creating insecurities on black people, and through those insecurities, they capitalize and make money. But then what they do is they break a society. They create an image on the black person that his life is short, brutish, nasty, he's a criminal, the black man is a criminal. It goes back just to this movement that is happening with the Black Lives Matter in America, the current movements that are happening in Brazil, the current movements where all the people of African descent are constantly portrayed that they are not human beings, they are constantly portrayed that they are not beautiful. This effort is racist, we stand against it, and we stand with all the institutions, civil societies that are against it, that are condemning it, and we on our side also condemn it.
The Landless People's Movement Utara Mutu said that the media over the years has also played a very dangerous role of painting the black people in a negative light and turned a blind eye on the positive factors in these communities.
In the news, the way the media is portraying the black man, they hardly celebrate when a black man has an innovation project that he's doing. They don't celebrate when a black man breaks history, especially in Namibia. We have young people in politics, young females in politics. Till today, it's very difficult for those young people to be celebrated. But the moment that the young person who is in position does something wrong, that is what the media will portray. They portray and they capitalize on the demise of the black person, on the demise of poverty, which is a black face. They portray that black people are not innovative. They portray that black people cannot come up with their own incentives. You have law firms that are driven by black people. Till today, the media is not being the tool that can be used to uplift and empower the black nation. And with whites, blacks, in Namibia, we should come together and to ensure that we reconstruct our society where we are all equally represented, where we are all equally heard, and where our dignity is restored.
African Natural Productions Director said that there are still many clients from the black community that tell her of the discrimination they face at their workplace or school due to their hair type.
Sometimes in the world that we live in, sometimes action must be taken because it's 2020, and I still have clients, for instance, that come to me and ask for the best possible style that they can take so that they don't get fired or discriminated at work because of their natural hair in 2020. And the thing is, there are certain things that the white community can't relate in terms of what the black community goes through. They do not get discriminated in terms of hair at work. They just wake up and they go to work. They can style their hair however. But for people who are like me, there are certain questions, and it's unfortunate that is still happening in terms of the action that has been taken. Maybe sometimes you do need to close the store down for people to actually start thinking outside of the box and to actually start taking action and realize that this is a ongoing problem. Here in Namibia, also in schools, we know that is definitely an issue that we face in work, in corporate, everywhere.
Gossip is reminding those men and women who have been hurt by the Clicks advert that their hair is their crown and shouldn't pay much attention to such negativity.
We always love to hear from you. Send us your views, comments and videos with your name and town to the One Africa TV's WhatsApp on 081 200 6659 or send an SMS to 555. One Africa TV, it just gets better.
COVID-19 pandemic has adversely affected air transport in the world due to travel bans and restrictions set by various governments since late March 2020. Namibia has finally opened its airports to receive and host tourists from other countries, with the Ethiopian Airlines the first to land during the COVID-19 pandemic. To alleviate further damage to the economy and constraints on job losses in Namibia, the government of Namibia has opened up the Hosea Kutako International Airport to tourists who wish to visit Namibia.
This is a manifestation of the Namibian government's commitment to revive the economic opportunities. It's also a concrete indication that airports are engines of economic growth, wealth and employment creation. Globally, passenger movements declined by almost 80%, whereas on the African continent they declined up to 95% due to travel bans and lockdown restrictions as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. Similarly, the cargo traffic also contracted due to overall weakness in the economy. As such, the decline in traffic movement affected the financial situations of world airports, which culminated in indirect and direct job losses. Undoubtedly, all these have negative impact on fast reviving the aviation ecosystem.
Ethiopian Airlines is one of the airlines that had the opportunity to be the first to be welcomed in Windhoek after the country banned all restrictions to flights during the COVID-19 pandemic. Tika Gebrselassie, area manager of the Ethiopian Airways, said that they are delighted to be back in the airport's business after it was interrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Ethiopian also prepared special flight and distribute the life-saving medical equipment to all African countries, and beyond joining the efforts of various governments in a fight against the pandemic. Continuing its effort, Ethiopian has been reinstated its flight to countries where travel restriction has been minimized or lifted. Windhoek is amongst the destination we are proudly serving with modern aircraft. We are very much grateful to the government of Namibia for giving us the permission to reinstate the passenger service, and we prefer to keep our scheduled flight intact and hope the government will continue its support to create conducive environment.
Namibia has put in place mitigation measures to continue its regular flight services in welcoming flights from other countries with the aim to help revive the country's economy.
I'm feeling so bad because of I have been arrested. We are trying to say to provide our kids with food, but the police, they come to arrest us.
I was literally apprehended in Independence Avenue. I mean, there was no prior communications with the police or with Bonn or Benga Namibia. These guys literally just apprehended us on surprise.
And when you are talking in a manner that is exaggerated about brutality in this country, I should ask you in which country you live.
Yes, I can confirm that indeed there were 2 cell phones that were found after a search was conducted at the cells that the Fish Road accused are staying.
Do you understand the amount of money that the government has spent on the fight against COVID-19. Could they have spent 300 million on tracing people and managing people? Is that even possible?
In other leading stories, the Electoral Commission of Namibia has registered about 96,247 eligible Namibians countrywide during the period 7th to the 12th of September 2020. Of this number, 34,270 are new voters registering for the first time, with the rest being persons who changed addresses and replacement of lost or damaged voter cards. The ECN expresses satisfaction with the numbers captured so far at the various registration points, despite minor problems experienced with the biometric voter registration kits at a few registration venues around the country. In terms of the 2020 electoral calendar, provisional voters register will be placed at strategic places in all constituencies and local authorities from the 30th of September until the 5th of October 2020. All interested persons are urged to make use of the opportunity to inspect such registers with a view to lodge objections against names or persons that they have reason to believe were registered unlawfully. All eligible Namibians who are not yet registered are urged to visit registration points before the conclusion of the supplementary voters registration on the 15th of September.
Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of local comments from the hottest social media pages. A family of a well-known pastor who passed away 2 weeks ago were caught by surprise when they were informed by the Ministry of Health and Social Services that he had died of COVID-19 on the day of the burial. The relatives and friends of the pastor were kept from entering the cemetery to bid farewell. Vera said family members should start demanding proof of the test to stop government from burying deceased persons in such a manner. Tangeni said there is a need for a clear understanding on the rules and regulations as it pertains to burials. Fugunale said that it is not right that the results came after 2 weeks. Prota still believes that COVID-19 could be a scam. At the 17th COVID-19 response public briefing by President Akakenkop last week, the head of state announced an extension on the lockdown for the epicenter region of Khomas for another 5 days in efforts to contain the outbreak as cases reached 10,000. Veronica said, "Let the Heavenly Father lead you, Mr. President, in times of decision-making." Junior said the president should engage the security forces as they are brutalizing the public. Moeulua said that trading hours for shebeens and bars remain the same. Polu said it is a good thing that the number of people per gathering has been increased to 50. Gerson asked if COVID-19 is still out of control in the epicenter area. And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today and One.
One day we went to I think it's the opening of Oshakati Stadium. Then I was a lead singer there. Then this DJ Remind came to me. I was like, "Hi, don't you want to be a solo artist? I say, what is solo?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is DJ Siam Bramas Grum Kwampiri Perez Kabuka Pleasure Returning from the Mighty region.
Happy Friday, what's up? It's Friday,
Abdallah is joining us in the hot seat.
She said it right. She said it right. She said it right.
Welcome to the tribe.
Thank you so much.
Hi to Holland, Namibia. Welcome to the tribe on One Africa TV. My name is Shay the Goddess, and I keep you company every Friday along with some of Namibia's biggest artists right here on this platform.
A look at the weather forecast. The Namibia interior partly cloudy and warm to hot in the south, elsewhere sunny and hot to very hot. The wind moderate to fresh winds in places over the interior, and the coast partly cloudy and cold to warm. Now we'll look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
Guys, prendi Krachman. Iti shantata. Damo yung bala na kusamiti ini. Aye man. Aye. Kuma man. Aye. Aye man. Bosa kato munofi. Ewe na skanda. Ewe na skanda. Kato munofi. Nasa kato munofi. Na wukulu wa kukaka. Wukulu wa kukaka. Beso damatara. Anga beso damatara. Ewe na skanda. Ewe na skanda. Kato munofi. Nasa kato munofi. Na wukulu wa kukaka. Wukulu wa kukaka. Beso damatara. Anga beso damatara. Hai tema kwa simu kupeli silonda pusha. Umenonye silita mturushanye. Wetu tula kwa benjama gawinyangusha. UXTLPNI. Oyembela takalame. Balombela vakalame. Ntente ntila tire. Pope pina papare, apesota basare. Respect na bakupe komambare. Ponte amo kapare, oto wile metare. Hello people fair take care. Hey haitare so cool, topi feni na rukare. Good dance na kapule, let's gonna throw my cake. Tagro pembele, watoto ifujula mo. Wasakati no morange. Ewe na skanda, tato munopina, tato munopina. Mutulu wa kukakara, beso da wakara. Ewe na skanda, tato munopina, mutulu wa kukakara, beso da wakara. Tuntu wango wanyego makaste, jalinga poshi potu wa shomonori. Kese pamwande do mikunda neki.
On BBC World News, the